do, yeah.
I read the China Pandemic in 2013.
Oh, nice. One of the authors there, the Infection series by M.P. McDonald,
Yeah.
she is a respiratory therapist, so she wrote a series about a respiratory virus just taking over the world, I think like the year before 2020.
Yeah, my apocalypse was 2020 too.
Yeah.
I wrote 2018.
It was a good year for
That
the
was
end of the
fun.
world.
Do you take Amazon published books or only Ingram Spark?
I do Amazon too, but for ordering the books and everything, it's just easier with Ingram,
Right.
with like all the set discounts and everything.
So do you go directly through the author so they can get the author copies and then send them to you for Amazon?
That's the
Oh, for
best
Amazon.
way to do it
Yeah.
when going through Amazon.
You go directly to the author, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because otherwise you're not going to get a discount, right? Like it's,
Yeah.
you have to pay the full price.
yeah. So it would be you guys ordering your own books
Sure,
and then
sending
either
it to you.
selling it to me wholesale,
Yeah.
and we go for like the standard discount for 40% or whatever.
So that your wholesale, I'm sorry, what is the standard wholesale?
40% off the MSRP.
standard
At Ingram,
Yeah.
it's 55, right?
It's 40. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where the 55 came from because everything I order is all 40% or 42% off.
40%
Ingram
off
takes the
retail.
15, that's why.
There it is. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been on that end of Ingram
Yeah.
in so long. Oh no.
So to just reiterate what I think I was hearing, because I was half hearing, you say if you're on Amazon, you'll purchase books from the authors who will get their author
Yeah.
copy.
Yeah, that's
discount.
usually the easiest way to do it is if you have your books and go directly to the bookstore.
And then you pay 40% of what we paid Amazon, or 40% of
I
the
pay
list price?
60% of the list price.
Okay.
So yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so then I get my 40% cut. For consignment sales though, if you work that out, for my store I do 20%. But I am in the process of phasing out all consignment just because
Yeah.
it's easier to manage,
Yeah.
like having the mix of wholesale and consignment stuff and my own stuff, and it just works out a lot nicer to just go straight wholesale for everything I can. So if you guys can, get your books on Ingram.
I was going to say, so you would
It's-
only go through Amazon if somebody wasn't on Ingram, if they didn't have
Yeah.
the books uploaded to Ingram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ingram is really the ideal place for, what's that?
$50 to list your book and it pays off very
And
quickly.
you
Yeah.
can even get promo codes for
There
that
should
too.
be a
You can
promo
get
code
free
for this, I
uploads.
think, too.
Yeah, he's been sending.
Yeah, Craig
It's-
Martelle's been sending out a promo code.
Yeah, it's uploads, not revisions, as far as I know, but yeah.
It's not revisions?
Not
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
very few.
I'm grandfathered into Lightning Source, so I just,
Yeah.
those are so outdated because I'm not gonna
Yeah.
pay $80 to do
I
updates to
know.
my books. But I do have some books that I need to list on Ingram myself. I do like the local coloring book thing for other local bookstores so that they can not have to go through me. And that's the big thing about having them on Ingram is that the bookstore wouldn't want to necessarily have to bother you every time that they need to refill inventory.
They can't keep, a lot of, like Barnes & Noble can't keep track. They won't even
Yeah.
know with authors. Like,
Yeah.
they can't do that.
Yeah, in a perfect world, I would have my point of sales set up to automatically do refills whenever the quantity gets low for anybody. Because right now I'm hand counting everything on a weekly basis, so yeah. It's a small store though, so it's not too bad.
I'm sorry, one more question. When you say first in series, do you prefer paperback or hardcover?
I don't know that it matters. I think hardcovers display nicer, but customers, if they want a thing, they're gonna just buy whichever. I have books that are in both paperback and hardcover, and a lot of times they'll take the hardcover over the paperback. So that's surprising to me. And like similar to that with the discount rates and everything, if you're discounting your book at only like 5% or 25% or whatever, just raise your prices and put the standard discount on it. Because people pay for it. I'm selling paperbacks for $40 a pop for like 500 to 700 page paperbacks. They're ridiculous. I have a hardcover book. It's a local one. It's about the same city, and it's under 100 pages and it sells for $30. So you just raise your prices. People pay for it, so it's fine. I don't understand tourists. It's a touristy area, so I think that's what's helping out a lot. But yeah, no, it's surprising. Like big paperbacks, you can easily go $25 to $40 with it. So if your cover sells it, it's the genre they like, then they'll buy it. So in the slides, if you're able to access that, there is a best practices thing. I think I had the file, right?
Were the slides accessible?
I wasn't able to get it.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, so some of you did find them on the Facebook group.
Yeah, it's called like file share or something like that.
If you go across the top of the group, then it has the
Yeah, yeah.
things, and the
Okay.
file is right there, yeah.
But it's just like his last name.
And
Yes.
it's- Yeah.
I think it's like Vegas slides, sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I found them, but I wasn't able to open them myself. Let me see if I can. This way, if you want to find a linked PDF version, if you can't download the file from Facebook, you can go to studiomoonfall.com/authors, the link that's on the postcard, and that has all the resources there, all in one spot.
Faster.
So, and on this page, I also have all sorts of like cool information that helps a bookstore collect all your information. So down toward the bottom of that page is the, or what is that? Maybe, do I have it anywhere?
So this form, so I'm on your resources page.
Mm-hmm.
This form is what you collect from authors who are in your store.
This is the stuff that I've been gathering myself.
Okay.
So the way I'm hoping to make it work for like here is if you guys have a book that you want to submit to it, you could just punch in all the information.
Okay.
So then I have it all in one space and wouldn't need to go back and forth with you.
Gotcha.
And then if
so
I
then
have
you
it-
just look at, so if someone wants to submit their book
Yeah.
for consideration in your store, then you can just like look and see like, okay,
Yeah.
I want to order a few copies of that.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
just like flip the couch cushions and find somebody so I can put it into inventory.
So Donovan, what's been the most difficult thing other than riots and COVID about?
Yeah.
In terms of the actual mechanics, yeah, you have to get that.
You
out
have to
there.
do a substantial amount of advertising for the store.
Mhm.
I advertise in like local magazines, the newspaper. I also do a farmer's market every weekend.
Mhm.
So like I have to shut down the store to do the market, but I've been doing it for 10 years, so it's not that bad and it's nice to get out there. But yeah, you have to just do a ton of advertising to keep the foot traffic going and events and things like that. I've done billboards, like on the road billboards, it's cool.
So is Kenosha fairly, I mean, I've heard of it, and
Yeah.
I know where it is, but is it a fairly inexpensive place to do all that? Because it seems to
Yeah.
me that if you were in the Washington suburbs like I am, it would be kind of prohibitive.
Yeah, it's my landlord is the best ever. So the space is real cheap for me. It's like with the shop and my apartment, it's like I'm paying what most people pay just for their apartment. So that is super helpful. But yeah, answer that.
And do you ship books? Do you get
Um,
online orders?
I don't. So the way I do the website books for either my own or all the featured authors, I link straight to Amazon, just do affiliate links that way, and to Bookshop, so
But
that
you
I
still
go.
get a piece of that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
But the customer would be purchasing from Amazon.
yeah, yeah, which then I think that's just a good way to do it, because then you got Amazon doing cross-marketing for you.
Yeah, it is.
Which is-
However, I've had a lot of readers lately just do not fundamentally want to buy from
Yeah.
Amazon immediately.
That's another
So I'm trying to
benefit
find
for
a
Ingram.
bookstore.
Yeah.
Yes.
So when you have your books set up through Ingram, there's bookshop.org. They're like the customer-facing distribution arm of Ingram, and they're fantastic for independent bookstores. The distribution arm, bookshop.org. Yeah. So when I list authors' books on my site, I have both the Amazon links and the bookshop links.
I've been sending them to my local bookstore and
Yeah.
they're getting a little inundated.
Yeah. Yeah, if you go on Bookshop and find your local bookstore, if they have an account with the American Bookseller Association, then they can get set up with them. And when you go onto their page, they get a couple bucks from every book sold on there. But yeah, Bookshop's fantastic. If you ever open a bookstore, it is worth it to pay the cost of joining the ADA, just so you can get the Bookshop affiliate thing.
Did you, sorry, did you build up your inventory over time, or like, how did you get the, I mean, I guess you can order from Ingram and you can do returns, but like, how did you get that started?
Just snowballing it for the most part. I had a lot already because of doing live events and all that, so I had a lot of my own books, and then I got a few authors that just dropped off books, so I was selling those on consignment. And then in last summer with the COVID lockdowns, the library was not able to do their Friends of the Library sales, so they just kept accumulating more and more book donations. And I put out a call that, hey, I'm going to start selling a handful of used books. If anybody's got some, I can take them off your hands. And one of the librarians hit me up. And then I rented a U-Haul to take 9 pallets of books out of the Parks Department storage and try and cram as many as I could into the store. So that was around 9,000 books with that. So that helped. And with the used books, it's a good... I'm losing money right now on the used books because of having to do the storage space and all that. And but it's fine because it's more or less an advertising cost. With the used books, you can dump them out on the sidewalk for just to bring awareness to the store that it is a bookstore. And just most of my Facebook advertising is on the used books too, because it's just a simple like shorthand for what's going on in the store. And once they come for the used books, then I get them to buy all your books.
That's cool.
Yeah. I was not able to find that file. So, did you guys find the best practices file?
The one on Facebook was taken a while. Did anyone else find it?
Yeah, I wasn't able to.
Was there
open it
2
up.
separate files, so I only uploaded one, so that would be my bad.
Oh, I think that was the correct one. Or no, this was the slides. And the slides would have a link to the best practices thing. Which, if I had it in here.
Yeah, I have this. I do, yeah, I have the slides, and it does have best practices PDF,
Yeah.
like studio, and it gives like a WP content upload, and then best practices PDF.
Okay. So yeah, if you'd like to go ahead and read off everything on that page, that'd be
Yeah,
great.
sure.
Thanks. I had it. Oh, I was just kidding. But
Do it.
Give,
I
give
sent
your
it to
phone
myself.
yeah.
Okay, here we go. So the best practices thing, it's a lot of self-publishing one-on-one, like you want your good covers, and I think from what I see in the store with the customers shopping, just genre as obvious as possible, which is like what you're probably already doing. This has some points on the pricing, which we talked about, that if you are worried about the discount, just raise your prices. And for brick and mortar stores, you're probably going to be okay with it. I don't know if Amazon is, I know with like, you can't have the pricing discounts on other sites for ebooks. I don't know if print books are the same thing with that.
No exclusivity there.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's no exclusivity.
Okay.
But Amazon will lower, well, if they find it for sale cheaper, brand new on another site, they will lower your price or change it, match it.
Okay.
But
But-
they have to pay for.
But we still get the.
You get the same royalty.
Yeah.
We still get, oh yeah, we
So-
still get, yeah, the
So-
royalties.
It's kinda nice.
Yeah. Or you just have your hardcover only on Ingram, and then have the big discount on that, and then bookstores focus on that one. Hardcovers really display a lot better with, I have the issue of temperature fluctuations in the shop, so the paperbacks from Amazon all get curly covers, all of them.
No.
And I do, oh no, I didn't get through it fast enough. I think I'm good on that.
I've got it open too if you
Oh.
need it.
Yeah, so, yeah, for like print quality between Ingram or Amazon, generally I don't really see too much of a difference. But the hardcovers from Amazon, from KDP now are fantastic.
Are they?
Yeah,
Are
I
you gonna-
just did my first one. I did it in, and you can switch between matte and gloss if you decide you don't like it. I didn't think you were gonna be able to do that, but I ended up doing both versions on one of my chapter books. And the gloss is fantastic for
So
like
you can do a
cartoony stuff.
glossy hardcover? I didn't know
Glossy
that. I did
hardcovers.
that just recently, I love it.
Yeah, it's so bright. The matte feels real good though. But for my stuff, it's all cartoons, so it just makes sense to go glossy with it. Yeah, and I don't know, I had somebody ask me about it the other day, and I don't know the answer to it, but the KDP hardcovers, they're printed covers, they're not dust jackets, and Ingram does dust jackets, so I don't know, like, if you can use the same ISBN for that, or like, what the difference is.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I can't imagine.
They have their
No.
separate
Cause it's
Yeah.
like,
forms, basically.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like case laminate, cause they also do case laminate.
Oh, they do, okay,
Ingram Smart does.
gotcha,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah, so you could put it
Case
out there
lam.
as a case lamb.
yeah, so,
And that's what
So
that's
you
like.
actually need an additional ISBN if you were doing potentially with the dust jacket and then no dust jacket on Amazon?
I
You
think
can
so.
select their ISBNs for free, you don't have to pay for two different ones. Unless you have your own, then you can assign your ISBN.
So if you have an ISBN on Amazon, you can still put your book on Ingram, you just have to buy a new one.
Yes, you don't have to buy a new, no. Ingram will give their free ISBN to
Oh,
you,
okay.
Amazon will give their free ISBN.
So if you just don't want it, so what's the
But you can't-
disadvantage of having them not match?
There isn't,
Okay,
as far as I know.
yeah,
They're just two separate products,
Right.
basically.
if you are doing your books on Ingram, I would recommend getting your own ISBNs and staying consistent with it,
Why would you do that? What's the reason?
because I can shop by publisher. So if you're not listed as the publisher, I wouldn't be able to see your entire catalog. And I find myself doing that a lot with, not so much independent author books, because I can search by name or I'm
Okay,
looking
even
for
if you have
something
your
specific.
publisher's name there, you still can't search by publisher.
If you use the Ingram free ISBN, I don't think it would have your name as the publisher on
So-
there.
Good to know.
so am I considered the publisher, or do you like us to come up with a different name? Like,
No, it'd be fine if you were the publisher, but it just to link
To link all of
the
the products
ISBNs all
together.
go under one
Okay,
thing,
so, okay.
just for searchability from my end of things.
So the reason that is cause when they sell the ISBNs, they sell them in these blocks.
Yeah,
And it's got a publisher.
Yeah.
And so you have to come up with a publishing name, or just your
If you,
name?
yeah, if you're buying your own ISBN, as a publisher, you get a block of
Okay.
numbers, and so then they know that all those numbers like kinda go together.
So my question is, what makes you a
Such an
publisher?
interactive
I mean, what do you,
section.
do you have to have a name, do you have an LLC?
Yeah.
No.
You're saying you're a
I say I'm a
publisher.
publisher, congratulations, me,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, you just, yeah.
It
you
is
just
cheaper
buy a
to buy
block.
the ISBNs in bulk.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure, buy,
Okay.
buy the 10-pack, cause you're gonna need them anyway, cause
Right.
you're gonna, yeah.
Or the five.
Or the 1,000.
Or the five.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
ambitious.
Yeah.
That's
You're like, I'm
ambitious.
gonna be in this forever.
I have-
10,000,
I have
wow.
1,000.
Yeah.
I burn through them, I've had to buy, yeah, you will use them.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
so we went through the pricing and distribution
Oh,
stuff.
we already have one anyway,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, just for running the business,
Right, that's
and
just.
so might as well put it in there.
Yeah, exactly.
On that authors page at the very bottom of it, there is a link to an example PDF. I've had a few authors come in to like get me to carry the books and everything. This is just a nice presentation of like giving the bookstore information. So like if you, I had a brilliant idea with this last night too, I'll tell you. But this has all the pertinent information like ISBNs for different formats and everything like that. In case the bookstore does do CDs, then they'll have that information without having to go hunting for it. It's a single book it focuses on. It's got the book description, the author bio and everything. It's basically a print version of what's on that submission form on my website, but it's on the author's page, there's a downloadable version for Apple Pages too. So if you want to just make it yourself, or it's a simple format to follow that has everything for just going to your own neighborhood bookstore. But I was thinking about this thing, if you made these up, you could just send it out to your mailing list to all your super fans and be like, hey, drop this off at your local bookstore. And that would be cool. If I had people coming in with these, I would order your books then. Because like, okay, there's a demand, so yeah, I'm on it.
What website is that again? That's.
This is on the studiomoonfall.author,
It's on your-
or .com/authors, right at the, below the form.
Okay.
So it's the example in a downloadable version. But
Okay.
I just made it for Pages, for Apple, because that's all I have. But yeah, it's there for you to take and modify for all your own needs and everything. Let's see, this one's got a lot of words on it. So yeah, going to small bookstores with limited space like mine, it's best to focus on whatever your best first book is to get readers started. Whatever's your most sellable book is too. If you do things that are like locally based, those are easy sells. My I do this the Kenosha coloring book I have is all local businesses, places around town. Just I did this for the lockdown, so people could just print the pages at home and be reminded of the businesses that are out there. And I charge all the businesses to be in the book. So yeah, it pays for itself before I even lay down the first pencils. But anything that, like touristy or anything like that, it just sells itself. It's real cool. For author events and stuff, my place, I do sidewalk sales in the summer, so I bring in guest authors. Sometimes we go big with it. I'll bring in food trucks. I have a friend that runs a nacho truck that looks like a castle, so with all the fantasy stuff, it's a real good add-on. We were gonna do a Comic-Con in the parking lot too for Halloween, but it's, once the weather changes, it gets a little rough. If you can find out what events your bookstores already do, if they have like an annual calendar or something, then it's easiest to like incorporate yourselves into those rather than like having them work around your book release schedule or anything. But if you can coincide a book release or launch for something they already have going on, if they have like a big literary festival they do every year, it'd be a cool thing to tie into that. And yeah, let your local fans know the bookstores have it. I really think giving them the sales sheet to bring to their own stores just all around the world would be really cool. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, I thought of that last night when I was going through the slides. But what do you guys got for questions? I think that's all I have, right? Oh, the author submission form and some. Oh, if you want to cut the line for author submissions, just send me your books and I'll just like, okay, thanks. And if I got them, then I'll put them on the shelf, and if I sell them, then I'll order more.
Okay. You said first in series. What about a book that is 502 pages, that is books 1, 2, and 3?
Those work too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I have a book that's books 1, 2, and 3 in one book, and it's 502 pages, and
Yeah.
you're saying about 500 pages for paperbacks.
They wouldn't sell as well as the individual books though for in-store, just because they're so big, they're
Yeah.
intimidating.
And you get more money selling them separately anyway, so.
Yeah,
Just saying.
yeah, you would make, but people will know they also save money too if they get the omnibuses. I have some that, I have a like sketchbook comic strip series that I do that I combined into a 9-volume series, and I push everybody towards the omnibus for that, and it sells better, but then with all the individual ones, it just looks cool because it makes me have more books on my shelf. But yeah.
So I sell such high volume off my website, and going to events that I order some author copies not from Amazon, from a third-party printer. Those don't have the UPC symbol on them.
Okay.
Would you need those? Would you need the UPC symbol on the books?
No, not
Okay.
no. I sticker everything
Okay.
for pricing, and if I did incorporate a more
Barcode.
full service
Yeah.
POS, I would just be able to slap on my own barcodes.
Okay.
So yeah, that wouldn't be a
Okay.
big problem at all. But why can't you have your ISBNs on those?
Because I go through a third-party printer and I just upload the book cover myself.
Okay.
So they're not getting it from Amazon. You see what I'm
Okay,
saying?
so
I
yeah, you
upload the
just-
file directly to a third-party printer.
Yeah. Okay.
So there is a way,
Yeah.
so I used to do a lot of product packaging a couple of years back, and there are like a lot of, what you just Google barcode creator or ISBN creator,
Uh-huh.
and then you can just paste your number, and they will do the code for you, and then you
Okay.
can put it on your cover. So if you
Okay.
you ever have the need of pasting any sort of barcode, you can just do
Put
it
it on there,
and
okay.
just put it on there. Then you
Okay.
download a JPEG or a thing, and you put it on your
Okay.
cover, and you'll be fine. It's exactly the same thing.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Yeah, I use the one on Creative Indie. It's Derek Murphy's website.
Yep.
It's CreativeIndie. So Creative Indie, just one.
Creative Indie, got
Yeah,
it.
no
Okay.
E on the end of
On creative,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with you now. Okay,
Yeah, I've been
awesome.
using his for everything that I do. Yeah.
How about there,
Go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm going. I have a question that's a little bit sideways. As a middle grade author, have you figured out how to get on the AR reader?
Am I on AR? I think that was the next step where I stopped going forward. I did, maybe I am in AR. You need to get them graded, you need a Lexile
Yeah, they're
measurement.
advanced readers and parents. I've had
Yeah.
many parents say, are you AR? And
Yeah.
I've applied 3 times. I've had every parent that asks me, I say, well, you can request it too. They've requested it, and it's been years and I've heard nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's just dominated by Scholastic or what, but I've had at least 24 parents
Yeah.
come to me asking for it.
There could be some steps that are missing. You can do the
Yeah.
Lexile measurement. They'll
Right.
put the grade level on it, like a 440L
Right.
for whatever grade that is. You can also do a CIP block.
Okay.
That's a, I don't do it on coloring books. It's something that librarians put together for their cataloging.
Mhm.
You can, there's some websites that offer it as a service. You can also, if you have a librarian friend, they have to have like a Master's of Library Sciences degree, and then they can make official CIP blocks. So I had somebody that was doing that as like a freelance thing.
Okay.
But there are services online to get the CIP block.
Okay.
So if, I would recommend doing those steps, and then it should help for cutting the line for AR.
Okay.
So yeah, you may also want to just join the SCBWI, for the Society of Children Book Writers and Illustrators.
Yeah, I've been a part of that for a
Oh,
while.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd imagine they might have some. No, nothing.
Maybe
Okay.
I'm just not involved enough. But
Yeah, it's hard to follow for what all they do. I intend to join it next year just to get a bigger roster of authors to bring in for local events.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay, thank you.
oh yeah.
I have a friend who, she works with us, but she's one of the people in SCWPI.
Uh-huh.
I can
Ask her how you do AR, yeah.
if there's AR.
That would be amazing, yeah, because I go to their website and fill out everything they ask me to fill out, and I even have a flyer at my table now for parents to take, because
Yeah.
they've been requesting it, so I'm like, how many people have to request it for them to contact
Yeah.
me or look at the book?
Oh yeah, that's what it was. The parents have to put in their requests.
Many parents have put in requests,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, if you could take out as many steps as you can, just have click this button on your website sort of page to
Right.
send them to
Okay.
autofill whatever the form is.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
Link to it.
yeah.
Do you have any advice on how to, like third-party publishers, maybe like, I'm thinking, mass production paperbacks, stuff like that, where I can get the price down, cause.
Yeah, so like with this coloring book, because of how I sell it and everything ahead of making it, I do full print runs. like you can just find whatever local book printers you have and get price quotes.
Okay.
If you can figure out the like size dimensions and everything that they offer, then just make sure that that's in line with what Amazon and Ingram also offer, so you can be consistent across each platform. Because otherwise you'd have to like use different ISBNs for the books.
Use the same trim size that they do already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and with these coloring books, I still have to print about 2,000 of them to get it below individual prices from KDP. So
Okay.
it's like, it works, but like with the most recent one, I was so busy with summer events, I didn't get a massive order, so I'm only printing, I think, like 900, and I'm just gonna go through Amazon for it, and the price is better through Amazon than what I would get from doing a bigger print run.
Bigger print.
Yeah.
Interesting, okay.
Any other questions? What you got?
Okay, so if you're trying to decide, you want to do some merch for your readers. Like how do you have any advice about what to do? Because like I think we've all been like in that moment where you think you have to do everything. You have to do t-shirts, you have to do this, do that, and then you are like you have boxes of things that no one wants.
Yeah.
So do you have any advice about how to figure out where you put your time and attention that readers will actually want from you?
Yeah, print on demand for everything you can, so you don't end up with massive stockpiles. Bookmarks are always good. I do thousands and thousands of bookmarks every year, and people love them because it's a simple little thing, and it doesn't cost anything for a little souvenir. And then with t-shirts and everything, I do those through Merch by Amazon. It's Amazon's print on demand apparel sort of stuff. They do t-shirts and hoodies and tote bags and all sorts of not like phone cases and weird stuff like pop sockets. But with Merch by Amazon, then you can put it all together in like Amazon storefront. So you can do all your books and your merchandising and everything all in one space. So if you look at shopmoonfall.com, that goes straight to the Amazon store, and that has everything all together for merchandising. But yeah, I also make buttons too with all the characters and everything like that, because you can just print those as you go with them. You just have to have the, well, you could print like 1,000 of the same thing, like if you have like a logo for your books that you wanted to sell or give away, or you could do characters and stuff and just get a button press and make them up as you need them.
So I found that if I had a product merchandise that wasn't moving, I just bundled it with the book set, and then people had the perceived value that they were getting more, and I could sell the book set for more, and they were getting merchandise that they wouldn't have normally ordered.
That's actually good.
And I just moved it, and I also gave it away to the reader of the month. I would give them whatever notebook wasn't selling, like 3 little items in a little gift bag that wasn't selling, and then you eventually get rid of it, and then order something that you notice is selling.
Awesome.
Yeah, and if you're in that situation and you have a lot of stuff, mystery boxes. Get some question mark stickers, slap them on there, and they'll move. And you can just stick it whatever you want. I have my most recent mystery box set has, they all have a journal, they have some buttons, they have some stickers, and a toothbrush, because I just had a bunch of toothbrushes because I thought it would be funny to do a, what was it? Sugar Crash was my post-Halloween event. So I was just, here's your toothbrush, kids. But now I have all these leftover toothbrushes, so I just added them to the mystery boxes, and people love them.
There's a merchandising quote session this afternoon.
Yeah.
I haven't done any yet, but I am considering doing something to accompany my books, and I want to make sure that I'm not just wasting my time because I don't have much time for anything. So
Yeah, I think with merchandising, I don't know if like your situation is the same, but it's easiest to sell in person than online or anything. A lot of them are impulse buys.
And also it's easier to sell stuff that's not a size, so then you have less SKUs. Like like t-shirts, you have the 6 different sizes and then you have too many of them. But bookmarks and bracelets and pins, that's the same for everybody, so
Yeah.
it's easier to move.
Yeah, for all my t-shirts, I only keep probably less than 20 in stock in the store, and then I just redirect people to the Shop Moonfall page, so then they can pick their size or different colors for their shirts and everything like that. And it's all print on demand through Amazon, so they all have Amazon accounts, and they just go there, order what they need, and have it shipped right to them. So it's nice to have a few shirts or whatever, just so they can browse a little bit, but you don't need to carry everything. So anything else? Have any of you guys considered opening a bookstore? Yeah?
Well, retirement is coming, but you know,
Yeah.
retirement doesn't mean sitting in a rocking chair. So
Yeah.
just trying to think of something interesting to do that need to make a lot of money on.
So my plan is to, I have a scheme that'll bring in a lot of money, maybe, I don't know. But I want to buy out the entire building, and some things that I will definitely need in my store going forward is a space like this for like events, for something bigger for author events, for the ones that want to do like speaking sort of stuff. Right now it's more of a meet and greet setup, but I would want some sort of meeting space. I want some sort of Dungeons and Dragons playroom so people can do like weekly play sessions or whatever in the store, just to keep that consistent foot traffic, and a coffee shop.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
you just have to have a little coffee shop. Right now I give away free cocoa for people when I remember to do it, but yeah, I will eventually team up with somebody who makes coffee, and I would sublet it basically, instead of trying to also run a coffee shop on top of the bookstore and trying to make books every month. Then I would bring in somebody else that's already doing it. That's why the food truck thing was kind of working out for special events.
Great location.
Yeah, I'm right downtown, so I'm in the touristy area of the city. I'm on the wrong side of the block though. Like if you're coming toward my block, it splits off in two separate angles. This side of the street, that's got all the trees and all the little shops and everything. Mine looks like you might get murdered. Yeah, I gotta get the city to plant trees, or just take over the whole building. Actually, I've held off on, my sign here is just a vinyl banner up top. I had painted window signs, glass cracked, so now I have no sign for my store, so I have the banner up. I was gonna put a like marquee style structure up for the sign, but having to deal with the city for signage is a huge hassle, so it would be easier to just buy the building and not have to deal with them.
I think you can paint your awning and put your.
I could paint this entire area here. I'll probably do that next year. It's just,
Well, it's winter time now. So.
yeah, it's winter time. It's a little hard to justify just the angle of the building without having something three-dimensional. It just doesn't get the eyes on it because people just sit right by too quick. But I have the sandwich board and the used books out there. I have had the used books outside during flash rainstorms, so we've lost many good soldiers. But there's plenty more used books, and now people just drop off their used books, so I have infinity of them at this point.
I do have to cut you off. I'm very sorry.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.